Ian Astbury. Oh my goodness.
Morris, pleasure.
Likewise, man. The pleasure is all mine, my friend. I gotta say, it's a great honor to be talking to you today. I gotta say, let me get the geek stuff out. I'm supposed to be a professional about all this, Ian. You just gotta let me get the geek stuff out really quick, and get through
Go.
the. I've loved you all my life, Ian. You're one of my favorites, dude. You know, you've been a huge
Oh,
influence all my life, and oh my god, I can't wait to meet you, man.
really?
I hope you don't. I hope you're not offended if the teenage girl just came out of me in just a sec there.
I do not mind. Are we wearing the same frames?
We might be. These are let's see here. What did I
What are
got
you
these a
on?
while ago. These are I got them a while ago. Coastal Contacts.
Postal contacts. I got Tom Ford's.
I need to, you know what, but I'm overdue for a new pair. And
Yeah.
I've been looking for a new pair because as you can see, I got this big old head. And you know, I
Yeah,
wasn't
it's
I wasn't
beautiful. What are you talking about?
I wasn't blessed with all this long, luxurious Ian Asbury hair.
I cut it off. I cut half of it off.
Don't ever do that. Don't ever
No,
do that.
it's a Buddhist thing. So
What a problem to have, Ian. Just all that hair. Just what do you do? What are you gonna do?
cut it off, grow it back.
Rub it in, sir. Rub it right in, okay?
Get a wig.
You know what? You know, I can't do that. You know, okay, so this shouldn't be the this should not be the basis of our conversation.
It is a good conversation.
It's you got me laughing at myself, Ian. Is that healthy?
Yes, of course it is.
Well, you let me know when it's appropriate for me to laugh at myself because right now I'm still
You,
crying.
you just let it rip.
Okay, all right
You're
then.
enough, babe.
With it
Yeah.
all the laughs on yours truly. Thank you so much, sir. I've got Ian Asbury's blessing. My goodness, I didn't know you also did self-help, but I'm taking it that way, man. I really appreciate it.
It comes with the territory and the time in.
You know what? No kidding, right? I mean, you know, we could all use all the help we can get, right, Ian?
Last
And
time I checked, a lot of my crew, I live near Hollywood Forever Cemetery. I've got about five in there.
wow, that's a
Then when
lot
you
of
start
flowers,
stacking the deck and you start looking at it, mental health in our industry, our profession, our career choice, our life choice,
hmm
I feel that we've got a higher per capita uh, death mortality rate than even military
Wow,
per capita.
that's a pretty heavy statistic, Ian.
It's a heavy statistic.
What would you say is the reason for that? And then what would you say we could do to slow that down or better deal with what's going on so we don't keep those numbers rising like that?
That our young artists are people, they're not products.
Right.
They're
Eh,
human beings. We're fallible.
right.
It doesn't come with a guidebook. A lot of
You,
us weren't born with a silver spoon in our mouths, contrary to popular belief.
yeah, no
A lot of
kidding.
us come from wherever we come from, and we struggle and crawl and fight to get out of that situation. And then when you enter the room as a kid, there's no guidelines.
You
The
know,
buffet is open, and you don't even know what's what. Imposter syndrome. I mean, there's so many layers. There's levels to this.
and isn't it, Ian, isn't it quite ironic that when we were coming up back in the day, there were no rule
Yeah.
books,
No.
and somehow we made it. Somehow now, thanks to these little devices here, you know the smartphones, the world of information is right there at our fingertips
Yeah.
at all times, and for some reason, now more than ever, we can't figure it out.
Well, that's because we're not silent. We're too busy processing data, looking for ourselves, when in actual fact, wherever you go, there you are.
Wow.
It's all within.
Instead of looking within
Just
in the moment that you're in.
getting silent. That's probably from studying with Buddhist
Mhm.
acharyas, teachers over I mean, since the 80s,
Yeah, yeah,
which started really, there was a sort of symbiosis of, I loved artists who had a philosophical component.
hmm
I couldn't quite fully understand what was being said, but those that had gone before who considered the existential aspects of being a creative person, um, and how to balance that. I mean, David Lynch,
yeah,
he was the transcendental meditation,
yeah.
the infinite field. This is very well documented. I mean, Rick Rubin has,
Right, right.
he's a guru,
Yeah,
a savant, shall we say?
yeah. Yeah.
And that's a big part of it. I
It
don't,
was a
whatever level
time,
you're at,
and it was a time.
age level doesn't matter. I mean, look
That's
at
right.
Nina Simone. She was amazing. She just whipped out a pistol. She
Yeah.
was,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. And it was a time when, a lot of artists spoke about this. They made music about this. You guys, of course, have been doing this, for the last 4 decades. But all those,
Mm,
even the artists before you, in all genres of music, rock and roll, R&B, from like the
yeah.
late 60s, the early 70s, were
Mm,
making music about looking inward and seeing the world within, and then being that change that you want to see in the world, making that change start within your own soul, be it listening to the Cult, or Led Zeppelin, or Earth, Wind and Fire.
I
All
mean,
of that
for me,
music, all of
it
that
is,
music came from
yeah,
within, pointing to.
absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the kind of the conundrum is the artist when when you're a kid coming up, you have certain heroes or people you admire and you're attempting to emulate in some ways, or I stand in front of the mirror and with Bowie on and try and cut some shapes, but I was never in a billion years. There's one of one,
Yeah,
one of one.
yeah,
um and then you realize that this is an extension, a manifestation of their individual experience. So
yeah.
there's the first clue: be yourself.
Ah,
Somebody commented to me because I put a photo of myself. They go like, "How do you get to be so cool?" I go, "What are you talking about? Just be yourself.
it's so funny, and people
Be
told me that
you. You're enough."
and blessed are those that realize that earlier, sooner than later. Even
Mm,
when you're a teenager back in the day, I had to look to my musical heroes for that identity. And I remember the closer I got to their identity, the further I got away from my own. It's
mm,
great to see your heroes within yourself, but don't try to become them, because, well, they're their own heroes, and they've got their own people that they're looking to.
of
So it
course.
keeps it never ends until you stop and realize, hey, it's great to admire folks
Yeah.
around you, but like you said, the most important thing is to be yourself. Don't chase the trends. Don't chase all the accolades. Don't chase all the awards.
Do you? Do
I
you? And build your universe within.
I
Go
love
go
that.
go search yourself out and look at your shadow as well. And that's a tough one.
It's
Some of us
scary
need
to Ian. It's
some of
scary
us
to
need
look at your own
guidance to go in
shadow.
there. Well, look at the moment we're in. This is a manifestation of global. We have neglected our shadow
Mm.
as human beings.
Why
We've
why are we so afraid of our shadow, Ian? I think that's why we've
because it's
neglected it.
the ego construct has been so reinforced by societal conditioning, where we come from, tropes that exist within our communities, the way we've been. I mean, I grew up in Canada, full disclosure. I grew up in a multiracial, multicultural society from the age of 11. So I've not really known that much else in my life
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
other than being other. And I connect with I mean, I can have a conversation with anyone on any level, and see the humanity and see the radiance within an individual. And that's something that's lost. There's such divisiveness, and these are all mental constructs. That it's not actually what's happening. And one of my favorite people on the planet right now is my superhero is Neil deGrasse Tyson. I love the way he breaks it down. I love the way he breaks everything down. He's so passionate. He's one of our best, making sense of the moment individuals. I
It,
always checking in with what he has to say.
it's amazing to have a source that we can go to,
Oh,
to
we're blessed.
be, and Ian, it's so easy to find these sources of light.
Of course.
People are so, Ian, talk about why it's so important for people to resist the echo chambers that we get caught up in when we're getting
Ooh,
fed the algorithms that are fixated on our pupils and watching our pupils dilate and
I don't.
retract as to
mm,
what's, it
I
keeps
wouldn't say
feeding us all
resist.
this.
I would not say resist is from a Buddhist perspective. It's observe. Observe the resistance.
Observe.
Observing.
Mm-hmm.
So the ability to abstract from yourself for a
Mm-hmm.
second, and then you're in the field of humanity. and other sentient beings, etc., etc.
Mhm.
Quantum. And then from that position, you can actually observe. You can look and you go like, oh, that was a bit of a dick there, or oh, that felt nice. I like that person's energy. This I'm going to stay away from. And this one I'm kind of confused about. Maybe I'll go do a little bit more research. Libraries are amazing vaults of information.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actual tactile, which I see a huge shift back to DIY, back to
Yeah.
analogous, where young people, oh God, I sound like such a boomer. Young people are are
You
actually
young
picking up
people.
books. The book is becoming. It's about. Vivian Westwood said, "It's not the outfit. It's not the person. What's sexy is what book's hanging out their pocket.
Mm.
That's sexy. Like, what are you reading? What are you thinking? What are your ideas? You say you look fabulous. Yeah, let's get past that. What are you into? That
Yeah.
was like me and Ruben when we sat down. It's like, yeah, forget all the external. Like, what's the lightning right now? Show me the lightning points. And it could be anybody, I mean, we can go all over the map.
It's
But
it.
ultimately bring it back to your process. Doesn't matter if you're washing dishes, doesn't matter if you're flying 747, doesn't matter what you do in life. Wherever you are, there's always a way of finding grace through whatever faith or philosophy. And practicing that is hard. Holding a central position is really challenging. And I understand a lot of people are in a lot of pain right now. And I really feel that. And I have incredible empathy for that. Yet, I've been in those places myself. And the way I got out was through some ninja skills of actually going to radical acceptance and Dharma studies, Buddhist studies. Pema Chodron is one of the greatest teachers on the planet right now. She's
Mm-hmm.
a ordained nun.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and she is doing a course that's coming up. She's 8, 9 years old. She's in Nova Scotia. Pema Chodron wrote a book called When Things Fall Apart:
Mm-hmm.
How to Deal with Difficult Circumstances. And she is a woman who's gone through many levels and layers of lived experience, and she's teaching right now. Robert Thurman teaching right now.
Amazing.
We have some
Amazing folks.
incredible teachers out there, not the
Amazing.
ones that are trying to sell you a product either,
Yeah.
or a supplement, or quick
And and
fix.
and looking for direction, Ian. Let me kind of ask you this. When me and my friends, and now even the younger folks that are
Yeah,
discovering the cult, and of course discovering the beginnings of the cult before, so with Death Cult,
yeah.
it's not
Mhm.
when people hear your music, I love the fact that they're still getting a spiritual lift from it, not so much political. And the great thing
No,
about that is spiritual things, they bring us together. All the other stuff tends to tear us apart, right? So
yeah.
Ian, a lot of artists are getting caught up in those divisions, man. I want to ask you, the cult remains free from all that noise. So,
Not free,
how
not free. We do get entrenched. We're human. We can get caught up. I
so how do
mean,
you stay, so of course, because we're all human, we're all looking at the same news stories around. How do
yeah,
you guys stay so focused on just the music that we love that keeps us united instead of torn apart?
because you serve the song. You serve the song, and that may sound obtuse, but in a sense, that is where you place your focus
Yeah.
in the text of the song, in the intention of, like, even the rhythm.
Yeah.
Like, I can go right off a beat or a bass line, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
in,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm hooked into that, and that will translate into Cantonese. That will translate into Russian.
The
You
music
that
is
will translate
universal.
into French. It's universal.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, like I mean, 1 minute I'm listening to Ethel Cain, next minute I'm listening to Mudu Mokhtar. I'm getting the source material, but the vibrational frequency of music is the most healing, regenerative,
Yeah.
powerful, and especially when we gather together.
And that's what I love so much. The fact that the cult is coming to the Bay Area, Monday, October 27th at the Warfield. Looking forward to seeing you guys bring
love.
the classics, the and the new stuff, the post punk, the
It's ritual.
alternative rock, the dark wave. It's amazing, man, because your
Yeah,
music and your sound has endured so many changes in the music industry. A lot of artists, seem to be identified by the music that they made in that decade or a particular set of years.
they get stuck.
You guys transcend all that. Can you explain how you've remained as fresh and refreshing and relevant today as the day you guys started back in the 80s?
Let's talk about a great Bay Area um, icon, um, Bill Graham,
Yeah. Yeah.
who was a war refugee who escaped, in Germany. He
Mhm.
escaped from Europe when he was a teenager, came to the West Coast and built everything that we stand upon. Bill Graham was the one that integrated with the community. It was always about being in the moment, and it was always about interpersonal relationships,
Mhm. Mhm.
like spending time with Bowie, speaking with him. People like Bill Graham always put, always being open to any possibility at any given moment, and learn that as a learned skill. And as creatives, letting it go. Just sometimes trash comes in. You go like, "This is garbage," or "This is really dark and horrible." You go like, "Okay, let's just look at it. Let's observe." And so we've always been very fluid in that way. We've always responded to the moment, not react.
When you're
The
when you
reactive part is when you get anger, and I train in martial arts, so I learned to find my center, because
Mhm.
anger anger can lead to a reactive response, which is great in like things like punk, or
Yeah.
I mean, it's a beautiful archetype. Anger
Mhm.
can be Anger is an energy, said John Lydon, and it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Yet channeled in the right way, honed, contained, can create intense dramas. And look at what Shakespeare did with the human,
Right.
the spectrum of human emotion. And you know,
It's
we're still in our infancy, really,
it's
in our
and
evolution.
and in that infancy and evolution, there's a freedom when you let go.
Oh yeah.
And I really love your attitude about letting go and finding your center and being
Mm,
free from these external things that we sometimes get caught up in looking for validation from them. And
yeah.
not and what I love about you guys, it's not about chasing the fame or the awards. You guys have always kept it real. That's why we love you. And nowadays it seems, Ian, it seems that for some reason it's like a curse for some of these artists, that are going out winning tons of awards and
The
stuff. Do
tainted
you think
buffet.
do you think it's always been that way, or is this somewhat of a new phenomenon of the last 25 years or so, where these folks
What's
are
the
just
phenomenon that's been
collecting
going on?
affirmation and they're
Mm,
instead of looking within like you guys have?
Well, consider the Renaissance, when you know um, artists were being commissioned by the church.
Mm-hmm.
That was basically, at the time, that was MTV or Spotify. Rest in peace, MTV.
Oh man, isn't that sad? Isn't that sad?
Well, it was sad about when they pivoted from music into their cultural. It became less about music and more about
Mhm.
advertising dollars. And I talk a lot about, and I've said this, and I got in trouble for, the cultural apartheid that MTV created in late 80s and 90s by segregating us all. We were segregated. That's why I did Gathering of the Tribes with Bill Graham in 1990. I
Mm-hmm.
said, hey, everyone, all my family, all my brothers and sisters out there, we are being pushed apart.
Right. We're being manipulated. Yeah.
We are being identified as a
Yeah.
certain, archetype, and then marketed to. And I said, the glue can separate us. So that got us in a fair amount of trouble. Um, so,
But you know what? But isn't it true? Isn't it true that that's what will get you in trouble is when you start speaking the truth, Ian, right? And because
yes,
it gets us in trouble, a lot of us are afraid to speak the truth, the true
but it's our
truth, right?
truth.
But
But
at some point,
mm,
Ian, we have to get the courage to just say, you know what, screw all that stuff. I got to tell the truth, and and the this is the truth so set you free, right? I mean, like, how do we get that courage back, man? There was a time when we did, when you guys first started out, music was that way, and now
It was
does it
incredibly
see it seems a
dangerous for
lot like
us.
a lot has changed.
Yeah, of course. It's an individual choice. I mean, there's no this idea of silence is violence, and some people struggle to find the words.
Right,
So
right,
please don't be so hard on people.
right.
I mean, some people feel good in the front lines. They feel comfortable there. They're good at it.
Sure, sure.
Let them take that position. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean, I mean, we are observing, we are watching, we are taking on the weight, the existential weight of what's happening around us.
Yeah.
And our response is to hold our centers and radiate outwards from within. And but to do that is at some point you have to step off because you're on the third rail.
Man, yeah.
You're on the third rail, and
Yeah.
it's time to step
Yeah,
off.
watch it, watch it, watch it. Yeah.
And it's not just in a sense we're in a community wherever you are, whatever your age, ethnicity, background, gender, orientation, wherever we're in a community. I mean, people say this artist is this and this artist is this, and babes, if you've got the courage to actually walk into that environment and share your vulnerable self with the world, that's I'm gonna stand there and go like, bravo,
That's right.
bravo. I mean, even you're putting yourself out there.
Yeah, and I think that's why you guys are still, you and the cult, and are still such a huge influence on so many people around the world. Both in music and out of music. I mean, even other bands. Like, I'm in a couple of bands. You guys are a huge influence on what we do. And then of course, and then there's all these tribute bands out of nowhere. All
Hmm.
in celebration of you guys and what you've done. I got to ask you, does that kind of appreciation still to this day ever surprise you, that, wow, man, it's like, we need you guys? Like, at some point, aren't we healed yet? Shouldn't you have healed us by now, Ian? Why
Me,
are we still so broken?
my God, there's so many more with so many more resources that could be doing so much more.
Yeah.
Just take a little bit, everybody up there in your big time. I had a friend, I walked by a friend at a festival, says, didn't recognize me, goes, don't big time me. Danny Lona, funny guy. But I got that. It's like the big times.
Yeah.
The ones that have got the resource and they go off in their helicopters and they never come back.
Ay, ay,
They
ay,
mean
ay,
it to
ay.
you.
Ay, ay,
And
ay.
it's like, babes, with all respect, just a touch, just a touch. Let it trickle down, put it in the community. There's
Yeah.
some amazing, I know what Kendrick does in his community. There's some amazing artists who give, it's not so much giving back, it's not a charity. It's just a cycle.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
reseed,
Mm-hmm.
you rewild. And
Ian, what
that's
you guys
just
have
part of the
done,
problem.
what you guys have done over the last 4 decades has been amazing, and that's why we're still here, with our arms and our hearts wrapped around you guys. Looking very much forward to seeing you guys this Monday at the Warfield in the city. Did I
In the
hear
city,
it exactly?
exactly
Exactly.
where it all started with the beats, the congregation of
Well,
so many different diversity, people like Alan Watts. I
yeah.
mean, Leary, there's so much. San Francisco is ground zero, even with technology, everything. And it's time for San Francisco to come back. It's time for the Renaissance. So please don't wait for the, mommy and daddy to pick you up outside of school and take you off to your Baskin Robbins, whatever experience.
Wait a minute.
Get,
Wait a minute. What's wrong with Baskin Robbins, Ian? I love Baskin Robbins.
well, you know what I'm
who,
saying.
who doesn't
Um,
love mint and chip, right?
I'm saying more like that's a satiation materialistic
Right.
thing. It's
Right.
like, okay, if you're
Very
creative,
temporary. Very
yeah,
temporary.
yeah, temporary.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it's DIY.
You know. You know. I love the fact that it's Death Cult and the Cult that are going to be
Yes.
performing here. Um, some of the younger folks may only know you as the Cult. Can you talk a little bit about the the formation of Death Cult and how that evolved into the Cult a little bit before we go?
Um, well, essentially, I was homeless. I was a homeless kid, and I ended up in Bradford, in the north of England, in a house. And in that house was some guys rehearsing
Mm-hmm.
in the basement of our house. They're a punk band, they were called Violation. And their singer had recently been booted out for lifestyle choices, shall we say.
Sure, sure.
And they were looking for a singer, and they looked at me and said, "Can you sing?" And I don't know. Next thing I know, I'm in the basement singing the Sex Pistols song, and they go, "Do you want to be in the band?" Like, okay, but they were called Violation.
Okay.
And then we got offered a documentary TV show. We had 3 songs. We were together for
Wow.
like 6 weeks.
Wow.
And the drummer's brother was a local promoter, and he got us hooked up with this documentary film crew. And next thing we know, we're playing in front of a room of like 100 kids in a pub doing these 3 songs, and that was Sudden Death Cult. Our first rehearsal space was above a reggae shop. First audience were Rastas. So it was like this mixed race band. Our first audience are Rastas, and it's happening so quickly. I've gone from homeless to bang, 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 bang. Some death cult explodes. We're opening for Bauhaus, The Clash. I mean,
Yeah.
Fear of Hate. We're playing with New Order. We're festivals with the birthday party and da 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 da. So
Yeah.
we're all over the place. And then the big conglomerates come in. We get offered a massive record deal, £100,000 at CBS or Epic or something.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
of course, me, typical to myself, 83. I'm like, see ya. Because at that point, it was like, we can pocket you now. And I
Yeah.
felt if we take this check, we'll last about 10 minutes. This will
Yeah.
destroy us. I knew
Okay.
at that age, even at 19, 20 years of age, that that was, I want to do this. This is what I want to do is be creative. But I
Right.
could already see the influence of,
You didn't want the music industry doing what the music industry does, boxing you
what,
in.
I didn't know what that was, but I had a sense it was a covetous move. And at that time, Billy was without employ. He'd left Fear of Hate and he was working in a clothing store in London. I knew where he was. I went down there. Turned up with a plastic bag with some lyrics in it, the clothes I had on, and said to him, "I quit the band." And he goes, "You did what?" I said, "I quit the band."
Wow.
He said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "I want to start a band with you." And he said, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah." So next thing we're in Brixton. So this band was born in Brixton in 1983. I slept on his couch. And I had some songs from Southern Death Cult, like Moyer, Flower and Desert, A Nascent Spirit Walker. And these were songs that I came in with, and Billy had some wonderful chord structures, and we just kind of got it together. And within 6 weeks, we put a band together.
Wow.
So we were on the momentum of Southern Death Cult. So we couldn't call ourselves Southern Death Cult. That was detrimental. And I'll always hold that relationship with Buzz, Barry, and Aki very, very high in my heart.
Amen.
I
Amen.
love them. They're my brothers. They
Yeah.
always will be. But my journey was different.
Yeah.
So then Death Cult was born. Death Cult lasted about 8 months because we very quickly realized that the name Death Cult was very limiting. And I felt we had so much to say and I wanted to make it so much more, but we'd already had this momentum. So I just went, you know what? I thought of the word cult in terms of culture,
Yeah.
just an abbreviated
Yeah.
form. So it's like, okay, cult has a good ring to it. For me, it represents culture. And that was it. Bang. Spirit Walker comes out, signed to Beggars Banquet Records. Spirit Walker comes out, we're top indie band. We were an indie band on
Yeah.
an indie label,
In the true sense of the word.
but you don't stay there. You evolve
Right.
or devolve and
Right.
make massive mistakes. And
Well, it's there where
yeah,
you're allowed to develop, you know.
well, they didn't have much choice. I mean, so we made the Love album when we made the Electric album for the first time. Steve Brown. After we were put in a really expensive studio in Oxfordshire. It was Richard Branson's house, and it was like costing a lot of money. And there was there was psychedelic substances around in the fields, and I was doing
Sure.
that.
Sure.
And I was listening to this thing blissfully and going like, it sounds really layered and dense. And I'd already heard Reuben, but I'd heard Cookie Puss by the Beastie Boys.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought, and that was late '85, and I thought, that's how we should sound, like stripped back. And I loved
Yeah.
the cadence. And plus, I grew up in Hamilton, Ontario, so my education came from New York State.
Yeah.
So to me, New York was Mecca, and I was always interested in culture coming out of New York. I was thinking Beastie Boys, New York, yeah, that sounds dope. And then Rick Rubin's name come up. He was still in his NYU dorm room when we met him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Next thing
Yeah.
we know, we're in Electric Lady, bang, Electric, and we smashed Electric. And that tour was, I mean, that year was insane. We played with Bowie, Iggy, GNR opening for us, full tour with Billy Idol and Whiplash Smile, playing arenas ourselves. That year, at the end of that year, I went to see a doctor in Harley Street. Said this kid's suffering from nervous exhaustion. I was 25 years old. I was in Vogue. I mean, I was everywhere.
Wow.
So for a young artist at that time, by the time I was 25, I'd already done Sun Death Cult, come off the street, smashed it with electric, worked with the nascent Rick Rubin, George Drakoulis, Andy Wallace in Jimi Hendrix's studio, done. But
Wow.
no, it continued. I'm like, oh my
And
God.
it's a wonderful continuance, Ian. I'm just so overjoyed and I'm so blessed to be talking to you about all that, man. And now it's going to come, it's going to come land right in our own neighborhood here, in the Bay Area at the Warfield on Monday. Can't wait to see you and the rest of the guys, the Cult, Death Cult, playing all the tunes we love. And you're also working on some new stuff, right?
Yeah, but there's already music floating around.
Okay. All right.
So
You're
it's
going
a
to hit us
really a
with some of the
case
new
of,
stuff too?
sorry?
You're going to hit us with some of the new stuff
Oh
too?
no. No, the one
No,
that will drop down when it's ready.
not
When
even
it's
a
ready.
teaser.
Oh, if people are paying attention, they'll get like the middle of our set. If people are paying attention to my activities, last time I checked, I just dropped a single with Black Asteroid.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
And yeah.
Okay. We'll be paying attention. Ears wide open, eyes wide open, heart open for you, man. Really appreciate it. Ian Astbury of
Boris,
the Cult.
thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Lots
sir.
of love.
It's been my pleasure to be talking to you
Much
today,
love to
man.
you.
Thank you, sir. I really
Look,
appreciate that.
look forward to seeing you.
I'll be there Monday, man, and ready to rock with the Cult.